Now that you have your Scratch account, we're going to get started with our first project. You'll need to be on slide 10. Your first project is to tell an original story. Original, I want you to make it your own, make it unique. You're going to make sure you have at least 2 sprites in this story. A sprite is a character, at least 1 backdrop. Each sprite must move in a different way, and you need to add at least 2 different types of sounds. So when I say they need to move in a different way, I don't mean one can walk, one can run. Instead, if you look below, you can see there are different ways you can make a sprite move. You can make one grow and shrink. You can make them disappear and reappear. You can make them jump. You can change costumes. You can spin, and you can glide. For each of these different types of movements, there is a tutorial. You're going to take a look at some of these tutorials today to tell a story and make sprites move using at least 2 different tutorials, so 2 different ways. You're also going to be making different sounds, different types of sounds. So you can make a sound when touched or when moving. For instance, you might have a dog who is running and barking at the same time. So barking, he would be making a sound while moving. Or you might add talking, so actually have your characters talk out loud, or record a sound. So for each of these tutorials, you want to go back to your Scratch account, and at the first thing we want to do is title our program, and we are working on tutorials. So um, I'm just going to name it tutorial, and then 7AD because that's my table number. Later on, when we get into some real story making, we'll name them after the sprites. But for this one, just name it your table number, and that way your friends can find very easily who they're looking at later on. Right next to where it says name, you can see there's a little light bulb, and that's tutorials. So if I go back to my launch log, I need to have at least 2 sprites with 1 backdrop, and I need to work on sounds and movement. I think one sound I definitely want a character to be talking out loud, and movement maybe some like running or walking across the screen. So I'm going to go with this one with the bat that's called Glide Around. So I'm going to go with that tutorial. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my sprites. So I would like a couple of animals, and I need to make sure my animals have the ability to walk. So I see the bear can walk, the cat can walk, the dinosaur dances. So, I'm going to go with this bear and get rid of the cat. And I'm going to have the bear walking after. Let me find a person who can kind of get scared. That Dan, he has kind of a scared look. So I'm going to go with Dan. He's going to encounter the bear. So I'm going to have a bear and Dan, and actually I'm going to have the bear turn the other way. So let me flip this bear around. There we go. And that bear's going to walk up to Dan, and then Dan is going to act surprised and or scared. And so all of this is going to have to take place outside. So let me just go to outdoors. That'll be easier. I need kind of a big outdoorsy area that a bear might be found in. So just a big field. Yeah, that's not really the outdoor area I'm looking for. Let's try that one more time. Just kind of yeah, that's a little more natural looking. All right, so I've got my bear and I've got Dan. Now, let me go to that tutorial with the bat and I'm going to make my bear walk over to Dan. So I've got my bat tutorial here. Now, the first thing you do with the tutorial is you can click on the play button and listen and look and see what it can do for you. But then you can use the arrow on the right to walk through the directions one at a time. So says the first thing I need to do is get out my when green flag clicked, and then I need to pick a spot for my animal to start and a spot for my animal to end. Um, so like if she's walking across the screen, I would go to X. So let me find that go to. I'm going to click on my blue move buttons and I'm looking for the words go to X. Oh, here it is. Go to X. And now I can move that. Notice it says 115 and negative 82. Watch what happens to those numbers when I move my bear. When I move my bear, those numbers change. Like now it says 22, negative 75. Those numbers are showing where the bear is on the screen. If you look down here on the bottom right, where it says X is our left and right, so I can move him back to the right. Now he's 117 again. And if I move him down more into the corner, now he's negative 98. So let me pull that go to block. He's going to start in the corner. And I want him to move toward Dan. So I'm going to move him up this way. And then to get him to move to that spot, it says to use the glide. So glide. And now notice my numbers are negative 10, negative 39 because I moved my bear. So he's going to go to 121 when I click my green flag and then glide to Dan. So let me click the green flag and try that out. That's not bad. He's not walking, but he's gliding. Okay, so my bear has moved over. Now Dan needs to react. So for that, I'm going to have to get another video because I've moved through all of my glide video. So I can get rid of this tutorial and I can go back to my launch log and I want to then pick a video that will help me learn how to make Dan act surprised. So I'm going to go back and look at my other videos and see if I can find that one. But if I look at my checklist, now I have my two sprites, I have one backdrop, and I have the bear moving in a particular way. Now I need to go make Dan move in another way and then add some sounds. Okay, you're going to spend the rest of your time today and tomorrow at your seats working through these projects. And at the end of your work time, we will show you how to share your projects and view and comment on the projects of your friends. Enjoy creating. Remember to make it original. Don't create exactly what the tutorials say. We want to see some unique and original stories.